What is the vision for spiritual formation in our church? Well, our vision wants to be to return to a more family-focused model that was often shown in the Bible. This is a picture of a family having their Passover meal. And what used to be in biblical days was this family-focused way of doing faith. And the word for that in the Hebrew was bayith, which was the family home. But it wasn't just about meeting together in your own family group. We also had the mishpach, which was the community of faith. It's an opportunity for all the community to come together and to encourage one another. But the focus of this was all family focused. Over time the world changed. We had the Industrial Revolution, and so to meet the needs of this changing world and the fragmentation of families, we had the introduction of the Sunday School movement by Robert Raikes. Now the change here was moved from family focused to child focused, and we began having these classrooms where spiritual formation was meant to happen. But it changed from spiritual formation, then it went into this idea of Christian education instead. And so we had quite a change in the way that those things happen. Now there's nothing wrong with Christian education and being child focused, but we need to minimise some of that and to see that we return to this idea of this family focused spiritual formation. And so that's what our plan is to do. The Here to Stay movement talks about 10 foundational pillars that are important for children to nurture their faith from the child years all the way into full-blown adult faith as well. The first of those is the big story of the Bible. Rather than seeing the Bible or teaching the Bible as lots of small stories that are not connected, but teaching it as one big Bible story that connects to a plan of what God wants to tell us. It's also important we give children opportunities to encounter Jesus through prayer and through other opportunities to develop their faith, so that it becomes something real to them, not just something that's their parents. The idea as well, or the pillar I should say, is responding with compassion, that we see the needs of others, not just looking inwardly at our own needs. Peak experiences, that it's just not the same things. We always come to church and we do our things each week. We have these peak times when it's an exciting and a exhilarating time to be together and to do faith together. Positive peer groups. Children need to have other peers that they can share their struggles with and to walk alongside and to have friendships with. Serving on mission, so linking back to that, compassion doesn't just stay in our hearts, it also works its way out in the things that we do. Family. Now when I first heard this presentation, family was the very first line, and the reason I've changed it on our slides is I'm looking at what we're doing currently and how we can begin to put family back into the picture more, rather than just being a very professional, the church does the teaching. It's also about the families being part of the teaching too. Rites of passage. We don't have a lot of these in Australia. We obviously, if you get your driver's license, that becomes a rite of passage. You're now an adult. But to look at ways that we can have rites of passages as people grow in their faith, things like obviously baptism and communion are rites of passage. But there can be other things that we can do to encourage our children to see their faith growing. Generational connections. Rather than just being the parents, others in the community. And one of the things I've found when we moved churches, I thought they were going to miss their peers, but one of the things that they mentioned the most is, I've missed that person at church who used to come up and give me a hug, that old lady who used to give me a hug, or that man who used to give me a droppy at the end of the church service. So we need these generational connections as well. Then we have mentors and coaches. These again are people that are non-parental adults who can be inputting to the children, and these mentors and coaches continue to help the children along their path. Now the reason I've ordered them this way is I wanted to look at what we're already doing. In Kids Biz we already have this idea of the big Bible story. We're trying to develop that through timelines and the way we do our programs. We have opportunities for kids to encounter with Jesus through prayer, to respond to compassion through things such as the compassion jar, which we use to send to the compassion children. So back a slide. So we have this opportunity to respond with compassion. Also, we want to look at those peak experiences and positive peer groups and build those peer groups through our special events, movie nights, picnics, Easter programs. Also, throughout that, we're trying to develop the opportunity for service through running the Christmas concerts or service opportunities to old age homes and the like. But the things we need to develop more is an idea of family and rites of passage, generational connections, mentors and coaches. So we have some ideas that can do that, but one of the ways we want to work through that is the Faith Legacy Program. This will meet the needs of family, empowering families to nurture the faith in the home, but also things such as the blessing events, which are part of the program, which help children grow in faith. We look at different things along the path, like Bible, their first Bible, how they serve, how they pray, and lots of things like that. And we have a way that the whole church community come together to celebrate their moves towards those things. Well, we have some videos I'd like to show, but I might do that at some other junction. So that's all I have to say for now. I hope you've got a bit of a picture of what we're planning to do to bring family nurture back into how we run our children's program.